evening, everyone, and welcome to the webinar this evening. My name is Reed Prescott. I am the Sales and Field Development Manager for NutraMetrix Custom Health Solutions. The content that we have for you tonight will take approximately 30 minutes. It is geared towards both health professionals who are evaluating NutraMetrix for their practice and those who are looking to work with health professionals and in a consultant role and help design, create, and implement these programs for those practices. Then we'll do a brief spotlight interview with one of our health professionals this evening, Dr. Roger Spar, and then we will go ahead and take any questions that you have. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and type them into your question box, and we will answer them at the end. We usually do answer those questions a slide or two later than you ask them, so you might want to wait until the very end to ask them as well. We'll get started right away. So the theme that we're going to talk about is delivering wellness for your patients and your practice. What we provide is a complete suite of customized and cutting-edge solutions. They are designed exclusively for health professionals. These are a wide variety of products and services, and they're all designed to better serve your patients and at the same time generate an ancillary income for the practice. There's been a huge paradigm shift, and those health professionals who are with us tonight are probably nodding their heads, yes. And it's happened not even in the last 3 to 5 years, even in the last 10 years. And health professionals are reporting several factors that are contributing to economic challenges. Some of those factors are the rising cost of business and drugs, and on the flip side of that, shrinking insurance reimbursements, and of course the ever-changing regulations and reforms that seem to happen on an annual basis and keeping up with those. And these challenges have been reported in the mainstream media since about 2012, which means that it had been an issue long before that. So let's just go over some headlines starting from 2012. Here's CNN Money from January of that year with the headline, "Doctors Living on Loans." The Wall Street Journal from March of that year, "Why America's Doctors Are Struggling to Make Ends Meet." Here is a ledger for practice where they generated about $2.1 million. Is that what that number is? Yes, it is. But after all their expenses were paid, they only kept $29,000. So there's a need to generate revenue in medical practices. Here is CNN Money from June of 2012, "Doctors We Could Go Out of Business." Here's April of 2013, "Doctors Driven to Bankruptcy." Here we have the Wall Street Journal from August of 2014 with the headline, "Why Doctors Are Sick of Their Profession." I think we've covered a lot of the reasons why. Here's Forbes of January 1st of this year, "Multiple pay cuts hit doctors in 2015." So it's not getting any better out there in the medical market. So how can health professionals overcome these financial pressures? If you're a health professional with us right now, you have probably tried some of these, if not all of these. You can certainly see more patients, and you probably are. You know, what most of us don't realize is that health professionals have to see about twice as many patients each year to simply generate the same kind of revenue they made the year before. And to do that, they probably have to work additional hours. Now, as patients of health professionals, we are also working sometimes 2, sometimes 3 jobs, and we actually need these health professionals to be open longer than 9 to 5 traditional business hours. We need our health professionals to be open on weeknights and on weekends because of the changes in our nation's economy as a whole. And certainly another way to overcome financial pressures is to open up additional locations, but of course that is its own financial pressure of its own. Everything that we talked requires additional time and additional overhead. So what we're going to talk about tonight is offering additional services within your existing practice. And we're seeing a huge trend happen with practices offering ancillary services. These services can range from medication dispensing to weight loss services, diagnostic tests in the office, nutritional counseling, cosmetic services, acupuncture, massage, and the list does go on. So that's the good news because that's what we're talking about, offering additional and ancillary programs. Now, how do you know if a NutraMetrix solution might be a fit for your practice? Well, are patients asking you, doctor, what do you recommend to help me lose weight? Or I know I should be taking a multivitamin or a vitamin D or a calcium or an omega-3. Which one should I take? There's so many. Or which brand do you recommend? Or maybe you have patients saying, doctor, what healthy alternatives do I have? So we already know that patients, aka customers, consumers, the general population is sold on the idea of supplementation. In fact, $40 billion are spent annually on supplementation, and twice as much is spent on weight loss support. So it's not a question of are they buying, it's what are they buying and who's giving them that advice. Most likely, it's not their health professional who has their best interest and their medical history in front of them and at heart. Most likely, it's a salesperson from a store who knows nothing of that and might simply be making a recommendation based on what they might be getting a commission on that week. And the average consumer, aka your patients, are not educated on the other ingredients that exist in most popular brands. They don't know that most of those products have chemical dyes, synthesized flavoring agents so that it tastes good, preservatives so it's shelf stable, bulk fillers like talc or starch or hydrogenated oil or even chemical coatings. I want to share with you just two very popular over-the-counter brands, the actual labels. We're looking at Centrum for women under 50, and everything that you see here highlighted in yellow is an ingredient that should not be in a health product. You're looking at cancer-causing dyes, hydrogenated oil, and talc to bind it all together. It gets a little worse when we look at what is in our children's vitamins. Hydrogenated oil, those same cancer-causing dyes, and then aspartame, a neurotoxin. Who thought that would be a good idea to put in our children's health product? Yet that's what's in them, or in these ones, I should say, and that's what your patients don't know to look for. So NutraMetrix provides solutions. We're in the right place at the right time. In fact, we've been in the right place even before it was the right time. And we're helping health professionals generate that additional revenue that's needed while providing the wellness-based products and services that your patients are already asking for and already in need of. The mission of NutraMetrix is to provide a system for health professionals to create an ongoing income while providing patients and clients with a better way to achieve optimal health. And we do this through revolutionary technology, science-based nutritional interventions, and the power of people. We are changing the face of healthcare, one health professional and one patient at a time. What I'm sharing with you is a chart of our growth. Now, we're a 10, almost 11-year-old division of a 22, almost 23-year-old global product brokerage company. And I share this slide with you not to brag, but I share this with you because the products and services that we provide through NutraMetrix provide the results that patients are looking for. And when patients get results with what they're looking for, they are going to order and reorder. And they're also going to share with their family and friends. And we have seen over time, health professionals with NutraMetrix accounts garner more patients for their practice simply because a patient has raved about one of the products or services that their health professional has provided that's a NutraMetrix product or service. We have a huge commitment to quality. We lead the industry in cutting-edge ingredients and sound science and exceptional quality control. We're a product brokerage company, and what that means for you is that we don't do the manufacturing ourselves. We are going to the best manufacturers in the country and having them make our products to our specifications. So what this allows us to do is we can move in and out of markets or what's needed at ease, or when new substantiated science comes to play, we can create or reformulate a product and get rid of an old one without it costing you or us any money, or a lot of money to do that. We can move in and out of those markets quite easily. And we have a wide variety of products, and they're all formulated by experts in the industry. And every product is manufactured with strict quality control guidelines and continuous quality control monitoring. There are a couple things that make NutraMetrix unique, and these differentiating competitive factors also are going to make you, the health professional, these will be your differentiating competitive markers for your practice as well. So the first is that we have isotonic capable nutrition. So for those who may not know, isotonic means, iso means same, tonic means pressure. This is a line of nutraceuticals that comes in a crystalline powder, so there are no binders or fillers, which makes this the purest form of supplementation on the market, bar none. You mix a specific amount of the powder with a specific amount of water, and when you do, it turns it into an isotonic capable liquid. This means it's the same pressure as a body fluid. You take this on an empty stomach. I know that sounds weird to take vitamins on an empty stomach, but you do. And because it is the same pressure as a body fluid, it doesn't have to go through the digestive process. So 90 to 95% of what is actually on the label is rapidly delivered to your small intestines where nutrients are actually absorbed. That's isotonic capable nutrition. And this is our line of Isotonics product lines. And because these are all powders, we can actually customize formulas. We can have a formula made that matches the identity of your practice, or even go one step further, and we can, with your help, customize formulas that are specific to individual patients and drop ship it directly to them. We also have a gene Snip program. You know, your genetics don't change, but your lifestyle certainly does. And our gene Snip program tests 48 genetic variations. It comes with a comprehensive health practitioner's guide and an action plan to support each patient's metabolic and fitness needs. One of my favorite services that we provide is our TLS weight loss solution. TLS stands for Transitions Lifestyle System, and this isn't a diet. It's a lifestyle education program traditionally done over 12 weeks, and this is founded on 4 principles. Low glycemic impact eating to maintain your blood sugar levels, changing your behavior around food, and changing your body composition through exercise and activity. And the 4th is smart and targeted supplementation. And lastly, the thing that's going to set you apart and your practice apart is the support you get from your NutraMetrix consultant. We are your partner in the growth of your wellness vision for your practice. We assess what you need. We put our proposals together. We help implement in the practice, work with you and your staff, whatever is needed, so that your wellness vision is achieved. So one of the things that a NutraMetrix consultant can do, and this is some of the very basic things, is, and if you get nothing as a health professional from this webinar tonight, I want you to take this with you. After your patients are done with their primary reason for seeing you, if you can take a minute with them, and I know in some practices that's actually asking a lot. If you can take a minute with them and say, are you happy with your current health, and listen for that answer. Most likely, they're not. And then ask them, if you keep doing what you're doing around that issue, will your health improve? And then listen for that answer. And then ask them, if there's one area you could support around your health, what would it be? This is like a wish list from your patient. And you know what? That area might simply be a referral to a specialist. It might be education on how to lose weight, which you might be able to provide through NutraMetrix and TLS. So you see, just by taking that extra minute, you're already creating a wellness program, even if it's simply a referral to another practitioner. We provide you with the tools that you and your patients need for a successful wellness program. We give you, with your account, your own privately addressed, or privately URL'd, as I like to say, NutraMetrix.com website. This has educational support, detailed product information, blogs, an online health assessment called the NutraPhysical. The website is open 24/7, so it's open for business even when the doors of your practice may not be. And it's easy to search. We have auto ship available and reorder alerts available for you and your patients. And of course, any of the marketing materials that you need, whether it's charts or catalogs or rack cards, we have those available. So how does this all work? I kind of alluded to it earlier, but let's go over it step by step. A consultant with NutraMetrix, an NC, a NutraMetrix consultant, assesses the needs of your practice, and with that information, we create a proposal and submit that to you for your approval. You, the health professional, evaluate it, make any needed changes, and we open the account and support your implementation, support the training, the ongoing success to meet your goals of your practice. So let's take a minute and talk a little bit about the financial aspect of NutraMetrix. So we're going to use this a sample model right here that I'm going to show for you. This is going to be a practice that has 5,000 patients. So depending on where you are, that's either a mid-sized practice or a very large practice, or if you're in a huge metropolitan area, it might be a small practice. Now, we run surveys for the last 8-10 years and in practices to find out what patients want. And the number I'm giving you here is actually quite low. This says 65% of patients in this practice want wellness alternatives. That number is usually anywhere between 85 and 95% of patients, when asked, would like wellness education, support, or alternatives from their health practitioner. Now, a practice of this size, to be very profitable, we only need a goal of a 10% penetration in the entire practice. So that means at the end of a year, which is usually a good ramp-up period, although it can happen faster if the health professional would like that to happen, that means 10% of 5,000 is 500 patients are going to be on a wellness program, which, by the way, we have a system in place that patients will self-identify the kind of wellness care that they would like, so that the health professionals that we work with know which patients to have what conversations with, okay? So 500 patients over the course of a year might sound like a lot. So what that really is adding 2 or 3 patients to a wellness program, again, that they've already self-identified they'd like to be on. So this is a custom formula that has a isotonic multivitamin, activated B complex, and calcium in it as well. So if we are looking, this is 500 patients that are ordering and reordering this formula on a monthly basis. That can generate in retail profit about $6,400 every month to the practice. Now remember, your patients are already buying these products, but not from you. And they're buying products that are of a lesser quality with all those other ingredients in it that are not supposed to be in a wellness product. And if we look at a more comprehensive formula, this has the multivitamin, the B, the calcium. It also has vitamin D3 with K2 and a very powerful antioxidant called OPC3. So if we have that same formula, that's 500 patients ordering and reordering, that means we can bring in about $14,000 in retail profit to your practice every month. Now, we have a secondary revenue stream, an associated revenue stream, or a commission-based revenue stream. Now, I'm going to go over this in a very high level, and you're going to definitely want to make an appointment with the person who invited you to the webinar tonight to go over this in a little bit more detail. But basically, in a nutshell, every product that we have has a point value assigned to it, kind of like a frequent flyer mile. When those points reach certain benchmarks, the associated revenue comes to you, okay? So here we have that first formula, that basic formula with the multi, the B, and the calcium. Remember, that's going to bring in about $6,400 every month in retail profit. Every month, it's going to generate about 14,000 of those points, and on an annual basis, it's going to add an additional $26,000. Now, these commissions can come in every week, just so you know, but what we can bring for this practice is an additional $100,000. Again, these dollars are already being spent by your patients, but they're being spent outside of the practice. And if we look at the more comprehensive formula, remember the one that's going to bring in $14,000 every month with 500 patients ordering and reordering, that can generate about 32,000 points on a monthly basis. On an annual basis, those points translate to about $58,000. And we can bring in about $230,000 to the practice with a formula, a comprehensive formula like this. So health professionals, your next steps are simply to consult with your NC, your NutraMetrix consultant, and determine the best ways for us to customize a solution to meet the needs of your patients and your practice. We'll put together the proposal for you. Make any changes, like I mentioned, go ahead and open the account. This is what it takes to open the account. $159.95. It includes everything that you need to get started. It renews annually for $129. And then the only ongoing expense, if you will, is $20, and that keeps your back office open. It helps manages those commissions for you, and your NutraMetrix consultant will work with you to ensure that your business is running always at a profit. All right. After that, we're going to schedule a staff orientation and training and help them understand your wellness vision for your practice and how to support the success of your wellness program in your practice. Train any key staff members to support the ongoing implementation and how the program will run in the practice, and then measure your success, measure your progress, make any adjustments along the way that need to be made. We provide ongoing training support. For our health professionals, we have 2 different trainings that happen at different times of the year. We have a NutraMetrix product and implementation training, where you can spend 2 days with some of our most successful health professionals and talk about clinical usage of NutraMetrix products in practice. And then we also have, once a year, it's not listed here, but we have the NEI, the NutraMetrix Educational Institute, where we offer CME and CEU, AMA accredited CMEs and CEUs for health professionals, and that is a 3-day course, tentatively scheduled in 2015 for the end of the year. For your staff or health professionals who want to work with other health professionals, we have a NutraMetrix consultant training. This happens usually about 5 times a year. It's a 3-day training, and we will teach you, your staff members, how to support the success of the program from the inside out. Now, what is a NutraMetrix consultant? Well, we're a trained professional who implements customized wellness solutions for licensed health professionals. NutraMetrix consultants, NCs, as we call ourselves for short, can be found anywhere. We can definitely be found inside the office. You know, as we implement, there are certain roles and responsibilities that happen, and we can provide an income stream to your staff members through NutraMetrix, since they'll already be doing some of the major roles and responsibilities that need to be done anyway. They can come from outside of an office, someone like myself, who works with referrals and works with the bigger picture, overseeing and designing the programs. And then for our wellness and weight loss aspect, a staff member can certainly specialize in our TLS program, or it's also a great way to refer business in and out to each other from a fitness facility. Let's take a minute and go over 4 different types of consultant roles. We have the outside consultant. This is the person who's going to be the big picture person. They'll set appointments, meet with the practitioners and design the programs, do any presentations or trainings with the staff, coordinate things with the staff. Who makes a good fit? Anyone with a type A personality is going to potentially be a good fit for this role. They might have a background in pharmaceuticals or medical sales, medical equipment sales, or any health-related field, or traditional business consulting or insurance. They might come from a hospitality background, really good at working with people. These are the kinds of traits that are going to make a good outside consultant, or a type 1 NC, as we have come to abbreviate ourselves. The second type we call the implementation manager. Now, what does an implementation manager do? They're the on-site lead point of contact. And this is the responsibility that usually falls on an office manager. This is somebody who should be good at delegation and accountability, provide on-site training and problem solving, good with follow-through, good at overseeing things. Like I mentioned, the office manager or the key point of contact in the practice can get trained through NutraMetrix. But also, a great implementation manager that may not be found in an office could be a teacher or a retired teacher, somebody who's really good with the small group education or trainings that are going to happen within a practice. So the type 1 NC might open the account, and the type 2, especially if it's not going to be somebody within the practice, would go in and do the actual implementation and training of the staff as the accounts are open. The third type is our wellness coach. Now, I want to be very clear. A wellness coach is only going to work with patients if they're employed or have some kind of contractual relationship with the practice. This is somebody who, say in a busy office where the health professional knows that this is needed, but just does not have that extra minute or two with their patients, then a wellness coach might be an option. Somebody who, before the patient leaves, is going to sit down for a few minutes and talk about why the doctor chose X, Y, and Z, why it's important, and they're going to discuss those wellness goals, discuss and answer any questions, and they might even be part of the ordering process and follow through for the practice. And our last type of NC is somebody who is specifically trained to implement the TLS weight loss solution program. Again, this could be a staff member. It could be a fitness professional who is going to work with the practice in a set way as contractually designed by the practice. But the main traits of a good TLS weight loss coach isn't necessarily about knowing everything about fitness or knowing everything about nutrition. Really what they need to be good at is keeping patients accountable to what they said their goals were. So somebody who's really good at that is going to be the best kind of TLS coach. And we have a separate training for people who would like to learn the TLS program. All right, so we talked about the finances for health professionals. Let's take a moment and look at finances for a consultant. So here's that same practice. You're seeing the 500 column over there. Now those points that we talked about that are generated by the practice, the consultant gets 100% of all of those points. So again, this is a very high level overview. You're going to want to make an appointment with the person who invited you here tonight to go over this in more detail. But if you have a practice that we've been talking about and you put them, say, on the left side, this is you, by the way, the consultant, and you put the other one on the right side, all those points that are generated flow up to you 100%. So when the health professional moves 500 points of a product or products, you also get 500 points. When those points reach those certain benchmarks and they match on each side, you get commission checks, just like the health professional will. And with our bonus system, you can earn up to $187,000 as a consultant. Our health professionals in our introductory program can earn up to $78,000. All right? So what I want to do now is introduce to you our featured guest for the evening. I'm going to unmute him right now. Dr. Spar, are you with us?
I am.
Good, wonderful. Okay, so just so you all know who you're talking with right now, who I'm talking with, Dr. Spar is the Medical and Operational Director of NutraMetrix. He's the Chief Science Officer for Market America, which is the parent company of NutraMetrix. You can see all of his credits here. I'm going to read them in case you are not in front of your computer. He went to medical school at Indiana University. He has a board-certified family practice, 30 years of clinical medicine. He's a board fellow with the American Academy of Anti-Aging and Functional Medicine. He has a functional medicine fellowship, and he's one of the founding doctors with NutraMetrix, and he's been an unfranchised owner, which is the business behind NutraMetrix, or the business of Market America, the unfranchised, since 1999, since before the NutraMetrix division even existed. So Dr. Spar, I have some questions that I would love to ask to you. And the first one is how has NutraMetrix enhanced your practice?
Well, the main reason that I look to functional medicine, and that includes nutritional methodologies, was to pretty much improve the metabolic situation of my patients. Many of you probably know, either from personal experience or from people that you know, individuals who may be getting very excellent medical care from a very well educated and also a caring physician, medications and physical therapies, whatever, but they just don't seem to heal very well, or they still maintain their fatigability, weight issues, joint aches and pains, difficulty with just functioning on a day-in, day-out basis, or even memory issues. And so I started looking closely back in the mid-90s at these patients and discovered that they all had a lot of metabolic issues. So I went back to the old biochemistry books and started becoming educated myself, as well as going to conferences, and really found that NutraMetrix products fulfilled a lot of the needs that these patients were struggling with metabolically. They weren't able to really make their normal metabolic processes work. And when you start putting people on nutritional methodologies that then allow them to have normal metabolism, they blossom and they get much better. And so that's what first drew me to NutraMetrix, and it became very successful in practice, very successful.
That's great. How has NutraMetrix enhanced your colleagues' practices and helped other health professionals refer to your practice?
Well, a number of things. As I became more well known in the areas, being a specialist in working with people metabolically, I got referrals from other healthcare practitioners, other MDs. Also, then as I began partnering with other physicians and chiropractors and acupuncturists and other people in physical therapy and so on, what happened is that I was able then to build my practice additionally because they, in turn, were using NutraMetrix products, let's say a chiropractic provider or acupuncturist, but they may need some of my medical skill for their clients. So they would then refer patients to me that I had not previously seen because they knew that I understood the NutraMetrix system and understood the NutraMetrix product line. And then I also then could feed that patient then back to them to complete their therapy with their chiropractic or their acupuncturist. Likewise, I had the same connectivity then. I could then go ahead and refer my patients then onto the acupuncturist or the chiropractic physician or massage therapist or someone, because I knew that they and we thought very similarly in terms of the care of the patient.
That's great. Okay, one final question for you.
Good, okay.
What piece of advice would you give to a health professional and or a consultant who is looking into NutraMetrix, either for their practice or to be a consultant?
Well, here's the thing that I always found was a roadblock. It was to me initially, and then as I've had experience with NCs or NutraMetrix consultants as well as other practitioners, what sometimes doesn't happen often enough is they have to decide what success looks like, right? They have to say, well, am I going to measure my success by the number of clients and patients that get better? And based on that, what is a patient who gets better look like? I mean, we think we do, but we don't really know. So people who don't heal very well, aches and pains, and they have very low vitamin D, replace vitamin D, and now they couldn't walk in the mall without sitting down at every single bench, and now they're walking around Disney World without sitting down ever at all. So we have to understand, hey, that's a success right there. Yes, that's my patient. That was a guy I had. You have to say what that success can look like. So when you are doing a process of looking at nutritional interventions, the thing that kept me with NutraMetrix is that I had the opportunity and have used nutritional products from physician-only companies, very well-known ones and good ones. Mm-hmm. But the impact in 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks has never been as good as I've gotten with the NutraMetrix products. And I've, again, been in business and utilizing nutritional interventions since 1996, a long time. So that's what's kind of kept me there. So look what success looks like from that standpoint, also financially. So what is your financial gain that you really want? And, along the way, we all know that going through our professional schools to become educated, sometimes it was hard. Sometimes we had to go and work really hard, and it was difficult to kind of get a concept, but we knew at the other end it would be a great thing for us. It takes a little bit of work. This takes a little bit of work to understand what you have to do. And you have to dedicate some time to focus on this to get better. But what happens if you focus on this and really implement it, because just because you put a bottle on your shelf that may have great potential, If you don't know how to go ahead and get that into the patient's hands and then utilize it effectively, you're not being very successful at helping them get better. And if you are an NC, you're not really being helpful to the physician to improve their financial status or yours if you're not able to create the methodology of success to get it into that patient's hands. And so I go back to one of the slides you had that showed that if someone was to implement successfully in a 5,000 person practice and they had the 500 clients that were in that system and they were utilizing the upper level of the nutrients, they were looking at a $200,000, I'm rounding this down by the way, potential yearly response. And so when we start looking at it, it's almost like saying, well, that's really kind of, wow, that's hit out of the ballpark, and that can't be true, is it? Well, let's just say, for example, that we're only 50% right. Right? So how many clients do you need to see and charge a normal fee to bring an additional $100,000 into your practice? Or I might say, well, gee, what if only 25% correct? What would $50,000 additional do to the bottom line of a practice for staff benefits or for staff raises or for overhead of your lights and your malpractice insurance, et cetera? So one of the things is we can sometimes be lulled into the false sense of what success looks like. I mean, success is going to be something's going to create improvement in your patients and also improve your bottom line. So at the end of the day, you take some home, whether it's 50,000 you take home or 100,000 you take home, whatever. It's still a move in the right direction.
I do want to thank everyone for their time this evening. Your next steps are to get your questions answered.